Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. It's 3 a.m. November 3rd. It's Sunday. It's 3 a.m. November 3rd. And I'm so thankful that you guys stopped by to watch this video. And I've been trying to post this video since Friday, and it's been so difficult for me to do. So today I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in and just go in. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'm going to be having so much amazing videos, a lot of stuff about me, a lot of stuff about my marriage, my cooking, my healthy eating. It's going to be an amazing ride. And this might not be your typical YouTube channel, but please accept me like that. I don't know how to edit yet. I don't know how to do an intro yet. So just take it as it is for me right now, okay? And yeah, it's your girl, Stunner Babe. Thank you for stopping by. And why do I want to share my story right now? I feel like me sharing this story will kind of give me that I'm not hiding feel anymore. Like I felt like I've been hiding for the past 19 months. And believe me, I know I've been hiding. And this me sharing the story right now will kind of give me peace of mind. It will kind of feel like a weight has just been lifted up, off of my shoulders. And it's gonna give me that now you can move on type feel. And that's the reason I'm sharing this. And I'm also sharing this also to tell you how amazing God has been. How amazing God has been in my life. And how God has been, it's just been everything in my life. And that's why I just had to share my story. And for me as well, for me to feel free, I had to share the story. And so please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please do subscribe. I'm going to be having amazing content on here. So please do subscribe. And yeah, here we go. And I've been trying to post this video since Friday, like I said. And it's just been so difficult for me. So just in case I get teary or whatnot, just please take it as it is, because I have stopped this video so many times. It's ridiculous. I can't even count anymore. So I'm just going to shoot and just go in. And it's not going to be perfect, like I said. But please, 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 please do accept me like that, okay? I'm not a perfect YouTuber. And this to me is going to be a journey. And I'm just super excited to share literally my life with you guys. Anyways, it all started last year, January ending towards February. And my second baby was still breastfeeding. Mind you, she was about to be 1 in March, and she was still breastfeeding. And I told my husband my body was not in the right mood, like right frame then. But I told my husband that, okay, do we want another child? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, let's try now, because my body is not saying it's not going to, like, I'm not going to want to have kids in the next 3-4 years. So if we're trying to have one more, let's do it now, because I want to be done so I can work on myself and work on my body. And that's what I told him. And it was like, oh, but your body needs to heal or rest, because I had 2 C-sections. So it was like, but your body needs to heal and rest and stuff like that. But I was like, my body right now is just saying, go ahead, because I don't want to start working on myself and then find out that, and then later, 2 years later, I want to get pregnant again. No. And it was like, okay, fine. So February, first week, second week of February, I started feeling like I was pregnant. And I started having like construction movements in my belly. And it was a lot. And immediately, that was kind of how I figured I was pregnant with both of my children, was because I started feeling all this construction stuff going on. And then all of a sudden, I just knew that I was pregnant. And then with this belly, I was like, okay, yeah, I think I'm pregnant now. And I told my husband was like, have you done the test? I'm like, have I done the test? I was like, no. But this is how I always find out that I'm pregnant. And I was like, yeah, well, yeah, that's true though. So the next day I had a dream, and I actually saw myself, and I saw myself pregnant in my dream. And I was like, oh yeah. And that same night, which was the next night to when I told my husband I was pregnant, he also had a dream that I had, that I gave birth naturally. And I was like, gave birth naturally? I was like, I had 2 C-section already. I was like, I, I don't know about naturally, but I know I'm pregnant. And it was like, yeah, but you don't know what God has in store. So it might be natural. I'm like, well, hey, yeah, that's true. So, and that moment, my belly started growing. Like my belly started growing that moment. And I just felt, yeah, I was pregnant. My navel, everything started coming out. And my body started swelling. Like, yes, my body started swelling. I started feeling pregnant. Like my belly was growing. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's amazing. I didn't do the test because I was like, this is how I found out with 2 of them. So hey, it's okay. But on the second month, which was February, March, April, I did a test. I was like, something just said, just do a test. Okay, just do a test. And then it will be that will be what you will take to your gynecologist and say, yeah, I did a home test and I'm pregnant. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do a home test. And I did a home test and he says, not pregnant. I was like, not pregnant? No, this can't be. And mind you, I was still breastfeeding too, by the way. And I was like, no, it's not possible. I am definitely pregnant. At this point, my belly was definitely on a 3 month mark because it was looking big. And I was like, oh, for sure I'm pregnant. And I did another test. And he says, not pregnant. And I was like, oh, no. So June, I remember June, I booked an appointment with my doctor. And I was like, okay, I need to go in now. Because this was June now. So June 4th, I remember. And I was like, we need to go in. And I need to go see my doctor. And we went in. Mind you, my belly was big at this point. And she was like, oh my God, you're pregnant. I was like, yeah. But I was like, but my test at home is saying not pregnant. She was like, She was like, have you been seeing your period? I was like, my period stopped too. But I've been spotting, which is probably once in 2 months. I'll spot for like 2 days and it will stop. She was like, oh, okay, so you might be pregnant. And then she did the urine test and it came back negative. And she was like, no, this can't be. And then she said, okay, let's do an ultrasound. And we did an ultrasound and she saw nothing. She was like, I don't get it. And she did it again. And she was like, it says you're not pregnant. And then she was trying to push my belly to feel it, why it was so hard. And all of a sudden she felt vibration. She was like, oh my God. And she did an ultrasound again. And she's like, but I don't see nothing. And I was like, nah, it's not possible. And she kept doing it for probably 10 minutes. She was like, I don't get it. She said, I don't think you're pregnant, Tammy. And I was like, no, but look at my belly. She was like, yeah, I'm confused too, but I don't think you're pregnant. I was like, okay. Then she was like, do come back. I was like, okay. And then we fixed another appointment to 2 weeks time. And I went back, and this time around my belly grew again, more. And she saw me and she was like, oh wow, Tammy. And then she did the ultrasound again. This time around, the same thing. She didn't see nothing. My belly, I was feeling movements. I was feeling, I don't know if it was gas. I was feeling movement. And I'm telling you, movements that was assuring me that yes, I'm pregnant. That was giving me that confidence and that faith that yes, I am pregnant. I don't care what the doctor sees. I am definitely pregnant. And that's how I felt. And after her doing all that day, and she said the same thing, you're not pregnant, Tammy. I don't know why your belly is growing, but you're not pregnant. And she told me to go to the ER. And I went there. And they told me, have I seen the doctor? I said, yes, I've seen the doctors, and I've seen the doctor twice, and I've done this and this and this. And they're like, if you've seen the doctor twice, then there's no point in you coming to the ER. And I said I had to because my doctor said I had to come. So they were like, okay. So they did everything. And I'm talking about full scan, everything. And they were like, we don't see nothing. But they were shocked as well because my belly was swollen. At this point in time, my belly was not just swollen. My navel was black. The pregnancy line was there. Everything was there. And so they got confused as well and said, they don't know what is going on, but you're not pregnant. And they said, well, you have to go because you're not pregnant. So I went having faith. And funny thing is that whenever I leave the doctor, I just smiled and say, God, I don't know what you're trying to do. My husband and I just say, you know what? You're pregnant. I know I'm pregnant. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if the doctor sees it or not. And yeah, that just kept giving me that assurance. Like there's something God was trying to do. And we were not sure what it was. But because of the movements I was feeling in me, it kind of gave me that assurance like, yes, I was pregnant. So on Thanksgiving last year, when I went to Thanksgiving with some friend's house, and they kind of like was like, okay, it's been 9 months. You need to go check now and go make sure that you're okay. And they kind of kept pushing me that you need to go, you need to go, you need to go to the doctors. You need to really go see the doctors that day. And it was Thanksgiving Day. My husband was very skeptical. He was like, no, he's not taking me. But I was like, you know what, let's just go. Let's just go. And we went to the doctors on Thanksgiving Day 2018. And I'm telling you, when I say they were so shocked to see how my belly was, that they were asking me literally, oh, are you about to put to bed? And I was like, no, that I came to check to make sure that I was having a baby. And they're like, what are you talking about? Your belly is this huge. And they opened, they were like, yeah, you're having a baby. I was like, no, I just need to confirm. And they did a urine test, came back and said, you're not pregnant. And they did the blood test. They did blood test, came back, said they don't see nothing. Then this doctor was like, I have to do an ultrasound. And she did like a full ultrasound. I'm telling you, she took the ultrasound stuff all the way to my back to see what was going on, because she couldn't just get it why my belly was that swollen. And she did that for, you know how when a doctor looks so confused, she was so confused. We did full scan, we did everything. And she couldn't even come back to my room to come see me and tell me what was going on. She had to tell the nurse because she really did not know what was going on. And that was when I got this paper saying abdominal enlargement. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's 11/22/2018. I posted this on my Instagram page, and yeah, the nurse came and gave me that and said, ma'am, we're so sorry. We don't know really what's going on, but all that our records shows, all the tests that we've performed shows that you're not pregnant. You don't have nothing. We don't see anything. You are so clean that we're actually confused on what is going on with you. And I was like, wow, really? And guess what? I started laughing because I was like, I have faith, and I knew this was God, and I knew I'm having a baby. So from that moment on, I kind of just shut myself out from everybody because it was like it was time for me to give birth, and I am still pregnant. Excuse me. And everyone that saw me that moment kept saying, you haven't given birth yet? You haven't given birth yet? What's going on? And then people that I do hair for would also show concern and say, what's going on, Tammy? You're supposed to have put to bed. I had so much question online on my Instagram page of clients asking me, Tammy, have you put to birth yet? Tammy, have you put to birth yet? Tell me, have you put to birth yet? And I would not have an answer for them. I would just ignore because I didn't have an answer myself. And I was so confused. And mind you, with all this going on, I was in pain. I would still do hair. I would still work. I would still, everything that was still needed for me to do, I would still do it. Because I would keep pushing through and say, I cannot abandon my family. I just have to keep pushing through, regardless of what was going on. I just have to keep pushing through. People that had gotten pregnant right after my belly started showing had put to bed, and I was still here. And every single day I would ask God, what is going on? Why? What is going on? I would have all these mood swings. My legs were swollen. My nose was, everything, my body was literally swollen. My hands were itchy bad. And it was giving me every sign of pregnancy. Especially my mood. Oh, my husband. God bless him. God bless that man. Anyways, he just took charge. He took charge of me, took charge of the kids. I would still work, but he did literally almost everything in the house. But I would still push through and say, we still have to work. I still have to do this. I still have to make rice milk. Mind you, I stopped doing hair in December because I could not stand anymore. My feet were swollen. My body was feeling pain. And I couldn't stand anymore, so I stopped doing hair. Look at me trying to stop doing hair and thinking to myself, what would I do next? I'm not going to be doing hair anymore. Cooking, will it just be cooking for me? And all of a sudden, that was when God gave birth. That was when rice milk happened. It just happened. Rice milk literally just happened. And to me, that was God still showing up, regardless of whatever it was that I was being tested of. He still showed up for us. He is a God that will never leave you stranded. Stuff will happen to you. Oh, you will go through stuff. But is it going to kill you? No, it's not. If it wasn't meant to, it's not going to kill you. And God will never leave you stranded. He will always create a solution in the midst of your trials. That's one thing God did with rice milk. He birthed rice milk for me. And through my pain, through my body pain, through my back pain, through my feet not being good, through everything, through me not being emotionally right, I will still push through and do my rice milk and still be there for my clients, still be there for my customers who have questions, still make sure that I give them the best, still make sure that it's not about me, it's about my client who is spending money. And with all these things, nobody knew what I was going through. I shut myself from a whole lot of people because I did not want questions. I was embarrassed. You know how you're going through something and you're actually feeling embarrassed for what you're going through and you didn't know the reason why you're going through it, but you were so embarrassed for you to start explaining yourself? I started feeling embarrassed. Some of my clients started feeling uncomfortable because whenever they come, I'm still pregnant. And it was like, they didn't even know if they should ask or not anymore. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing hair. I'm going to shut people out. Because one thing about me is that when I'm going through something, I'm not that type to share with people. I like to go through whatever I'm going through. If I'm being tested, I want to go through it by myself. Well, of course, with my family. Knowing that, yes, this is, I don't want nobody else knowing what's going on with me. No. So, yeah, after Thanksgiving, after last year Thanksgiving, I started making these videos and just started, I just went deep into my Bible, went deep just listening to God's word. Because then I started having peace of mind. I started having peace with God's word. even though I still felt like I was pregnant, I started having peace of mind. I started having peace of mind. I went in with God's word. I started praising God. I started listening to his word. I stayed away from my church with winners because, of course, as a Nigerian, people who were pregnant after me, like after my belly done showed, had given birth. And I did not want questions. Like, I did not want questions. I was going through so much pain that I felt like any question, I was feeling ashamed in my trials. I wasn't supposed to be feeling ashamed, but I was feeling ashamed in my trials because I was like, why should I be going through this? This year, I started saying I was done. I started saying, God, I'm done. I don't want this child anymore. If this is a child inside of me, I don't want it anymore. I just want to be able to take care of this too that you have given me. I didn't want this anymore. I just kept saying it. My husband would caution me and say, don't say that. Don't say that. Just have faith. And I'll be like, it's a month, it's a year, in 2 months, in some months then, I don't want this anymore. You know how you started regretting? I started regretting that I even tried. Like, I started regretting that I even said, let's have another baby. I started regretting because then I started getting so weak to even play with my kids. I started getting so weak that any little strength I had was for me to work and just push through for these customers. And they've paid money. I gotta push through. My husband was there 24/7. He had to quit his job just to be there for me and just to focus on me and the kids and the business and just help me through it. And my kids was there, and I would not be able to lift my kids up. I would not be able to lift my kids up because my belly was so big and I was in pain. I would not be able to lift my kids up. I would be, anytime they come to me, I will say, no, I don't have strength right now. Out. I will tell them, I don't have strength right now. Sorry, no. I don't have strength right now. And it was just me, my husband, and my kids. My mom went to every pastor she knew back home. And they kept telling her that I needed to come home for deliverance, that it wasn't normal, that they don't see anything. And everywhere she went to, they kept telling her I needed to come home. I needed to come home for deliverance. I needed to come home for deliverance. But she wasn't giving me that option. She was like, no, we serve a living God. Why should you leave a place to come to a place for God to answer you when we can ask him? And he can actually give us what we want. And I just started just like, you know what? I'm just going to keep praying. And I kept praying, Lord, I kept praying. 15 months, I kept praying. 14 months, I kept praying. I was in pain. I was in so much back pain. I was in so much leg pain. I was in so much pain that this time around, I just hid myself totally. I restricted myself. We couldn't go nowhere. We did go places, mind you. We did go places that nobody knew me. And we would travel to Austin. We went to places where the kids can still have fun. We went to places but I stayed away from everyone that knew me because I just did not want pity. I did not want questions. I did not want people to ask me, what is going on? Why haven't you given birth yet? It was so much questions. Even on Thanksgiving Day last year, at my friend's place that we spent Thanksgiving, I had people poking my belly. That to me it was not cool with me. That that was the last day I was at that lady's house, which is she's my friend. And that was the last day I went to her house because I knew something was wrong with me, but the poking and the questions it was so much for me that I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay. I had people call me, I had friends call me, I had people call me, but I did not pick up because I just did not want to have to explain myself and have to talk to people and have to say this was what I was going through. I was in pain. I was in pain. I was in pain. You know how you're in pain body wise, emotionally, in body wise, but financially, everything else was okay. But then to actually enjoy what was coming in, it was not happening. I couldn't enjoy what was coming in. I started thinking to myself, how does this look that everything else is fine, but for me to actually enjoy my work and enjoy what I'm earning from my sweat and my work, and I can't even enjoy it. And my kids, we couldn't go so much places, and I couldn't play with my kids as much. I played with them, but I couldn't carry them. I couldn't do like the rough play we were doing. Like they would literally come every single minute. Mommy, mommy, mommy this, mommy that. And I kept telling God, God, you know what? I'm done. Please take whatever this is. Take it away. I don't care if it's a baby in there. I don't want it anymore. And I just kept saying, and my husband will caution me still and say, don't say it. You're almost there. And I kept saying, almost there when? There are days that I will feel discouraged. And I will say, I wish I had somebody that I could talk to. Apart from my husband, apart from my mom. I wish there was somebody that would say, Timmy, you're okay. Like, Timmy, I got you. Like, Timmy, what do you need? My husband was there 24/7. My mom was there on the phone 24/7. She was confused. She didn't know what to do. She wasn't here. My mom, my husband, my kids. It was me, my husband, my kids. Nobody else. And it was so difficult for me. It was really, really difficult. I went through. The pain was unbearable. The pain was unbearable. I was having bad tummy ache. I was having movement, vibration in my belly, movement that my husband felt, movement that we felt. I decided to go to other doctors. I decided that, you know what, I'm going to consult a midwife. I did, like 2-3 midwives, and they were like, you might be pregnant. And they kind of sparked my hopes up, like, you might be pregnant. This might be what they call cryptic pregnancy. And I went to read about cryptic pregnancy. I was like, this is looking similar to what I'm having, to what it is that I have, because my back pain was compared to nothing. Like, the back pain I was feeling was ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. And I kept saying, And they kept telling me, yeah, this might be cryptic pregnancy. That it's not scientifically proven yet, but this might be cryptic pregnancy. And I was like, oh my God, this might be cryptic pregnancy. Oh, wow. I might be pregnant. That's what I said to myself. And going to them again gave me hope again. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to face God. I'm just going to be like, you know what? This is it. And this and that. And yeah, I'm just going to concentrate on God. Serve God more. Keep doing what I need to do. Couldn't go to my church anymore. So I started going to Lakewood where nobody knew me. So, which I can be comfortable. Nobody's going to question me. And even at the group that I joined, the marriage group that I joined in Lakewood, they also were like, Tammy, when are you having your baby? And this and that. And I was like, oh, I don't know yet. They were shocked, like, you don't know yet? What do you mean? Like, did I not check? I had something. Like, oh, you didn't go to the doctors yet, or you can't afford the doctor. Like, I know they were thinking so many things. They didn't say me, they tell me, but I knew they were thinking so many things, and I just kept saying, I don't know yet. I think it's gonna be December. I think it's gonna be this, and I think it's gonna be that. And after going there for a minute and seeing that, okay, they're like, Timmy, okay, what's going on? When are you having kids? I stopped going. Like, some days I will stop, some days I will not stop. But Carol, who's the wife to the um, person who started the group at their house, will not give up on me. She will send me messages regardless. She will, even if I reply and I don't reply her, she doesn't care. She will still send me messages. She will still check up on me. She was like, if this is the baby, when you're ready to give birth, I'll take the kids. I'll do this, I'll do that. And I was just super thankful. And I was like, wow, thank you so much. And it was hard for me to stop, but I had to, because the question, come on now, like, they didn't question me, but I feared, and I told myself, if I was one of them, I would say, when is this lady really giving birth? So I stopped. I would just go once in a while, and that's about it. And I'll keep telling them stories how the midwives who I went to see will tell me, I'm definitely having a kid. I'm definitely this, I'm definitely that. And being the fact that I'm Jesus' age, I'm going to be 34. It was amazing thinking that I was going through this for a reason. I didn't know what the reason was, but I knew I was going through, and I knew God needed my full attention. But I didn't really know why I was really going through what I was going through. I didn't know why. So June, I made a commitment to God. Like, I sowed a seed to God, and I said, I'm sowing this seed towards my situation, and I'm just hoping and praying that something happens soon, or I give birth soon. At this point in time, I didn't really care if I was having a kid or not. I didn't even want a child anymore, because I was so done. You know how you go through some stuff and it makes you reevaluate your life and reevaluate your priorities. And it made me just realize, you know what? There's two amazing, beautiful kids that God has given me. It's okay. Like, I'm okay. And I kept saying that. And I was like, I just needed to be healthy for them, Lord. And all I would do was wake up in the middle of the night and I would cry. I would wake up in the middle of the night, I would cry. And I would go naked and cry and say, God, help me. God, help me. I need myself back for my family. I need myself back for the people around me. Help me. And I will cry. And I will cry so much, and it will be 2-3 hours, and I'll still be up, just reading my Bible and just crying. And when I wake up, it will still be the same thing. And I'll just say, you know what? It's okay, Lord. I know you're working. Anyways, September ending, I was like, enough. It was like something happened to me. I started bleeding that day. I started bleeding. And I was like, what's going on? I started bleeding. Mind you, every day for the past 19 months, I've been spotting. Every month, I've been spotting 2 days, and I'll spot 2 days. And mind you, my spotting wasn't clear. It was like kind of like it wasn't a dark red. It was kind of pinkish brownish. Exactly. I was like, every symptoms, everything was driving towards me being pregnant. Everything that was feeling, that was looking like, my nose, everything was driving towards the fact that I was pregnant. So September ending, I started bleeding, I started having bad cramps. I think what happened that day, oh yes, I prayed overnight, and then all of a sudden I started bleeding that day. And I was bleeding. I was wondering, okay, what's going on? I was bleeding, and I told my husband, we gotta go to the hospital. My husband was skeptical because he was like, no, it's okay, the bleeding will stop and your baby is there, you're fine. And I was telling my husband, no, I'm done thinking there's a baby here. I'm bleeding. I gotta go to the hospital. And he took me to the hospital. I was rushed to the hospital. And all of a sudden, it was like, it was like my mind was opened. I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it. I felt like my mind was opened. I was bleeding and I was bleeding. And all of a sudden, rushed to the hospital, got to the clinic, and they were wondering why. They kept asking me, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? I was like, I don't know. And they were like, she don't know? Like I had this freakishly huge belly in front of them and I said, I don't know. So they were like, what are you talking about? You don't know. And I was bleeding. So they rushed me into a room. From me bleeding, they were wondering, okay, what was going on? And they opened me up, tried to do an ultrasound. They didn't see anything. They saw this huge belly, me bleeding. They didn't see anything. And all of a sudden, they were wondering, okay, what was going on? Why is she bleeding and then we don't see nothing? So basically, I just kept bleeding and they called the doctors in. And all of a sudden, I pushed something out. I didn't look. I didn't want to look. I pushed something out. It was kind of like a thick blood or something like that. They didn't know what it was. And immediately I did that, I felt free. Like my swollen body just calmed down. Like it felt like my body I just felt free. And they had to go do a full body scan immediately after that. They had to go do a full body scan. And they literally came back. After all that process of bleeding, they came back and said, you're perfectly fine. We don't see anything. And I was like, you mean you don't see anything? They were like, no, we don't see anything. We don't see anything. Like your test, everything is clean. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, so what just happened right now? They're like, they can't even explain it. They said they cannot explain it. They couldn't explain it. And immediately that was done, I stood up. They said I could go home that day. I stood up. I felt amazing. I felt good. And I stood up and I was so thankful. I stood up. The kids were at school. So it was me and my husband. And my husband still kind of was like, no, you're still pregnant. And I'm like, baby, stop. I'm done. No, I'm not pregnant. I am free. Did you see what just happened? I am free. And we got home and I felt amazing. And my husband and I sat down for almost an hour wondering what just happened. We didn't know what just happened. What I had been through for the past 19 months was me being in bondage. What I had been through for 19 months was me. It wasn't natural. No, it was not natural at all.